Hello and thank you for joining me on Ev Loves Media. Welcome back to my podcast where we talk about all things media. Before we start, I'd like to thank Chipotle for sponsoring this podcast. Today we're diving into a film called Stealing Seconds. It's a live-action, dramatic, adventurous, and action-packed film that will leave you on the edge of your seat. It's about a man who gets his watch stolen by a thief with a chase scene following the theft. Here's the action and adventure convention coming into play. And it ends with a cliffhanger on who the man who stole the watch is. That's where the drama convention comes into play. So today someone asked me something along the lines, how does your product use or challenge convention, and how does it represent social groups or issues? And I thought this would be a great post for my followers on the cast and a great way to answer this kid's question. To answer the first part of the question, my film Stealing Seconds uses the conventions of a traditional adventure, action, and drama film to its advantage, conveying tension, wonder, and worry. Me and my team have accomplished this through the use of dark filters, slow-mos, fast-paced music, and quick camera movements. All of this combined to enhance the ambience and effect on my film and its viewers. Let's dive into Neil's theory, which is evident in our film because it has the same features as an action film, as that is our main genre. Our film also has comedy in it, challenging our genre conventions. The comedy can be seen as different, like when the guy gets his bike stolen by the robber after stealing the watch. This shows how films of a type of genre should include features that are similar, but also include features that are different to keep a different audience engaged. This stuff is seriously fascinating to me as a big media guy. For example, the robber adds the action convention to our film through the use of his dark black clothing and ski mask, and like the fact that he stole the watch. He looks like a goofball. That is here where the comedy may come challenging our other conventions. We watched several films compiling different professional logos. We noticed that the corporate logos can be very simple and straight to the point, so were the genre logos, and pretty boring if you ask me. Both logos were very simplistic and smooth for these big companies. Also, lots of them were familiar. We first discussed the corporate logo for our film. We came up with the acronym with the first letters of all our names and made it into our corporate logo, MICE, which is a lot more tough than the big corporate logos. We then discussed a logo that would ease our viewer into the mood, atmosphere, and genre of our film, also still having the conventions of a logo. We came up with a logo that says voltage with a lightning bolt as the T, and electricity flows through the letters, establishing the action and adventure in our film. See what we did there, eh? Pretty tough if you ask me. The Raiders of the Lost Ark influenced our opening credits, which is a pretty goated movie if you ask me. We got the idea to fade from the credits to our opening scene, just like in the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Our credits will be in a clock, which will then fade to the sun. There is a watch in our film, which is significant because the watch is a prized possession of our film and the thing that is stolen starting off the action and drama convention of our film. I know, we're pretty smart for this. Let's talk about more movies. Our film's main inspiration was Fast and Furious. We got the idea to do a fast action-paced chase scene. The difference is obviously we didn't use cars, but bikes instead. This helped the action convention of our film and adventure convention too, because we were moving around in the neighborhood. Also, can't forget the suspense brought to our film, leaving people on the edge of their seat. I now want to move on to the second part of the question about how the film represents social groups and issues. We really focus on the difference of class, aka the poor people and the rich people. Hall's theory of representation is evident in our film with the representation of class and the social groups when the wealthy man with the watch is stolen by the lower class man. This theory of representation focuses on how the media portrays people or ideas. These constructions can create stereotypes, especially regarding race, gender, and class. Like, come on, Robert, just lock in and go chase the bag instead of being a little loser of a thief. Also, the role gender plays is pretty significant. Butler's theory of gender as a verb is evident in our film with two males showing off their masculinity by getting chased and being the one chased. They are also being very physical with each other throughout the film, representing typical male stereotypes. Our film illustrates this theory by showing how a character's gender is built through actions, like specific mannerisms, speech patterns, or clothing, further making the social groups more evident. Let's compare my goated 10 out of 10 film to other mid-crappy films. I'm just kidding, by the way. Let's talk about Fight Club. One of my favorite films of all time. Fight Club is analyzed for its depiction of hypermasculinity as a performance, with the fight ring acting as a site for gender validation, just like our film. Masculinity is the main representation. A film different from ours is Portraits of a Lady on Fire. This explores the performance of gender roles in a space without men and explores the issues of women being seen as the weaker gender, quote unquote. And this is very different since we don't have women representation in ours. Okay, well, guys, I think that covers everything and all I have to say on the topic. If you have any questions, please feel free to write it down in the comments or email me. All my socials will be lined up in the description. And again, thank you to Chipotle for sponsoring this podcast. Remember to subscribe to my podcast for more bangers. All right, see you guys.